Hello guys and welcome to Imperator Rome Population Guide. So in this guide we will learn what is population, what are its mechanics, what are the bad sides, the good sides of population, how do you manage it, what are the mechanics which you can use to manage it, and also we will discuss in the end, let's say, a practical way of using these mechanics and how you can use them. Just an idea, brainstorm of trying to synergize everything into something great. So jump in guys, we are moving right in. But before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment down below. Did you find this and will you find this interesting and helpful? And also check our Imperator Rome gameplay tutorial where we will basically go through the game together, and all of these things which I'm going to tell you here you can find there in our gameplay as well, and see how we use them and how you can possibly try to use them and get your own way of using it. So let's go right in. Each town has its own population. There are 4 types of population in each of the towns. You have citizens, you have freemen, tribesmen and slaves. Each of these groups is giving a different type of an output. For example, citizens will give you research and commerce bonus and will produce that. Freemen will only give you manpower, tribesmen will give you taxes and a little bit of manpower, and slaves will only give you taxes. You can go to your province and clicking it, there you will see number of population per town, but it is not showing you there what type of population, what type of group of the population you have in that province. In order to do that, you need to go to your nation overlook, where you can check all of the provinces and number of population they have and what type of population they have per province in general. This means that we can specialize different provinces in our empire. So for example, if we want to make a commerce heavy province, we will make a lot of citizens and promote a lot of freemen and tribesmen into citizens in that province. However, if we want, for example, to make one province manpower heavy, we will send a lot of freemen into that province and move all of the others or promote them into a freeman. Besides population types which we also have cultural groups, cultural identities and religion for population. Cultural groups are combined from several cultural identities which are similar to each other into one cultural group. They are still different, but they are close enough. And then we have religions. There are several religions and there are no religion groups. There is just religion as a religion. So these cultural groups and cultural identities, what do they do and what do they mean? It means that if you're conquering one province which has same cultural group but different cultural identity, it will give you medium penalties to the unrest because they are not the same cultural identity as you are. While for example, if you're conquering a different province which has a different cultural group which has different identities inside of it, it will give you major penalties into it. Here with expansion and cultural identity and cultural groups go aggressive expansion. The more aggressive expansion you have, it will give more penalties to the different cultural groups and cultural identities inside your empire. So if you have certain number of aggressive expansion, it will give certain number of percentage of negative opinion of different cultural identities towards you and will generate some unrest. Furthermore, regarding the unhappiness in cultural groups, if happiness of any of any population goes below 50%, it will make small unrest. So this means if we have 10 citizens and one of them is below 50% of happiness, no matter if he's Roman or different culture, it will generate unrest. Romans, if they're same identity as you are, same cultural identity will have a little bit bonus to their happiness, so they will not go below 50% so easily. But if you have different cultural identities, it might be easier for them to be a little bit more unhappy just because they are being ruled by different cultural identities. So if population in town goes down with happiness and they are getting unrest, you will have penalties which will impact that city's commerce, taxes, manpower and research, while on the province it will have impact on the provincial loyalty, which will slowly reduce it down if you don't manage that unrest in the cities and start improving the loyalty of province in general. In order to check where you are having unrest and what is happening, to see where you need to watch a little bit more, you can go by clicking from province and their cities by city to take a look at the unrest in the bottom right corner, and also you can check the population tab on the left side where you have the pictures of sad and happy face of the population type to check just visually where the problem is. Then you can go deep in and by clicking the picture of that population type, and from there you can check what is the problem and where do you have the problem, which you can solve that. Benefit of population is that the more population you have in your stable province will give you proportionally more output specific to their population type. Also, more population in cities will allow you to build more buildings in that city, which then later on you can synergize with the type of city and province you want. So now that we spoke in general and a little bit about population, which population do we have, what do they do, how are they being impacted by other mechanics in the game regarding you playing the game and expanding your empire, let's speak how do you manage that population in retrospect with all of the benefits and negative sides of population in your empire. So there are 4 things which you can do to your population inside a province and inside a city, and they are all connected with mana. So you can promote your population, so that will change one population type in that province to a higher rank. So you can only promote slaves, tribesmen and freemen, and they can go all the way up to the citizens. You cannot promote anyone higher from the citizens, so they will change from the lowest population group to the highest one accordingly in your city. After that we have cultural assimilation, so that will change the cultural group and the cultural identity of that population in that city to your group. Next one is religious conversion, so that will use omen power to change the religion of that population and religion of that one pop per city to your pop. And last one is to move one population type from one city to another. So here you can change whoever you want, and also you can change a religion of whoever you want. This move ability, management type, will move one citizen or one other population type you select from one city in that province to a different city, either from that or different province inside your empire. So you are not only locked to this province you have inside. So these mechanics for management of population you can use to manipulate the happiness of your citizens. So all of the mechanics for your citizens and your population management is just to manipulate their happiness and manipulate the output which they will have in your province. So you are just using these to change the demographic structure of the province, which you can then use to specialize. If you don't want to spend, however, your mana on these actions, you can use governors and governor policies in your provinces. So you can use edict to do cultural assimilation, which will over time change their culture, or you can use religion conversion, which will change the religion of the population in your province slowly. However, the backside of these governor policies and provincial policies which you can have is that they will be really slow with assimilating those population in those provinces, especially when you're converting and assimilating provinces with higher pop. Usually assimilation and conversion goes from around 20 to 30% chance per turn to change one pop to your culture and your religion, and you cannot use assimilation and conversion to the religion at the same time, so you need to change your edicts one at a time to do that. So it is possible to do this for free, but it will take you more time to basically do that and change the culture and religion in that province. Best way to do this, however, is to make a specialized provinces which will be dedicated to conversion and assimilation, which will work all the time. So there you can get governors which are good with conversion, and you can basically use those provinces to move population from one side of the provincial cities to the different provinces and converting them there and resettling those provinces with the Romans, and that way trying to make the structure of population you want in certain cities while assimilating. Besides population management via mana and via edicts and governors which you can use, there is one more thing which you can do to help you with population management. Mostly that is just to keep them in order while you're doing all of these others which we mentioned before, and that is to use resources which will help you in managing the happiness of population in that province. So you can use wine, you can use olives and other resources which are devoted to increasing the happiness of certain population type in those cities and provinces. And if you have a surplus of those resources which are helping with the happiness, for example wine, which is helping with the freeman, giving 10% more happiness, if you get a surplus of it, then it will give you happiness and output of those population types in those provinces. So stacking those resources can be helpful and help you with the population management in your provinces. In the end, let's just see how you can get more population. So there are two ways to get more pops in your cities. One is population growth, where you can use resources from provinces like grain and other stuff to increase population growth or to build granaries. And other way to get more pops, and it's more instant, is by occupying enemy territories, where you can capture one or two pop as slaves and sending it back home to your regions. So now, in the end, after I basically gave you all of the theory on what is happening, how you can use mechanics, which mechanics do you have, I kind of hinted and spoke several times about specialized provinces or conversions. So let me give you in practice, let's combine everything which we just spoke about and let's give this in an example. So you can make specialized provinces. You can take, because you will expand faster and you will expand as time goes more and more. So let's say that you are expanding mediumly. You can dedicate 2 provinces in your home region which you can use for conversion, which can be specialized provinces just for assimilation and conversion. So what you will do is you want a province which has let's say that they have olives, that they have wine from the get-go in their region, so in their province, which will give the bonus for populace in that area off the bat. Then you can get in that province, if possible, a trade route, because that will also help you to convert and assimilate these populations. Why? Because if you get that trade route, you can get a resource which you are lacking in to help you, for example, maybe with an output, or maybe with the lacking resource which you have to help up with that happiness of the populace which you are going to bring in. So those provinces will have same governor which you want to have with some assimilation and conversion bonus. There are several governors if they are being if they're having an edict, which is assimilation and conversion, we'll have some bonuses helping you with conversion and assimilating, and they'll get some traits with that. So then what do you want to do? So those two provinces will have assimilation running 24/7. So only thing which those provinces, only edicts which they'll have is to convert. So what you want to do is to, when you expand and when you conquer a province, you want to use your all of your mana. You want to put this to the maximum. So you're using all of your empire mechanics, all of your empire resources into assimilating those people. So what you do is you send your Roman, let's say that we're now playing as Rome, you're sending Roman Hellenics up to that province, making that province a little bit more happier, because they'll have a certain percentage of people who are happy, who are not unhappy, lowering down the unrest in that province. And then you are moving those guys who are different culture and different religion up to your home province, where you will assimilate them. You will use your free power there to assimilate them, and in that negative just conquer province, you can use some of your mana to do some heavy lifting and do some initial assimilation and conversion, just to give it some kickstart, and so you're not being heavily penalized for conquering. That way you can use all of the things which we just mentioned just to convert and assimilate, and just by moving those guys from those conquered provinces to your province, home province, where you are assimilating them, you can organize the structure in conquered province what you want to do. For example, if I'm conquering, let's say, Athens, I want to send all of the citizens from my home region up to Athens to be converted, to help with the research, because I want to make Athens a research center of my empire. I'm gonna send all of my citizens there, while I'm sending all of the, let's say, tribesmen, all of the freemen, all of the slaves back home, where I'm going to convert them. So basically, all of the mechanics which we told before will help you guys with managing your provinces and specializing them in making more and giving you what you want in your empire, what you're needing. I hope that you will find this interesting, that this helped you guys. If it did, don't forget to like and subscribe, because it took some time to do this. I did some research, I played a lot of the game, and I really took some time just to do this, just to find this and make this good for you guys. Also, check our Imperator Roman gameplay tutorial, where basically everything which I just gave you here in a few minutes, you guys can find there while we are playing, and we can learn together. So, I hope that you enjoyed, and I'll see you